I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. No more lonely days of pain and misery. For the door of happiness I found the key. I have found a life of love and harmony. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. I found I'm so happy with this brand new melody. I have found that life can be a symphony. Looking forward to that happy jubilee. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. Yeah, happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind when I found the Lord. Yeah. Good evening and welcome to our Midweek Bible Study. Today is Wednesday, September the 14th, 2022. And it's always a privilege and an honor, very humbled to be able to sit on this side of the screen and share some findings from the Bible and from some research. I truly believe that on or before the end of this segment, we'd all be better with information. Really excited about this topic of proper prayer and effective prayer. We've been on this series since January, since the first Wednesday of January, and I just truly believe that once we get a proper understanding of how to pray, you know what I mean, and how to effectively pray, that we would be able to see amazing results, that would actually, bring some real glory, to God. And that's what we would like to do, as you can see, that we would say things like, prayer changes things. If that was the case, then there would be no more hospital, because we would have an army of Christians, that will just bombard the hospital rather than bombarding the throne of God. You know what I mean? We would bombard the hospitals and the hospices, and we would go in there, man, and we would just, pray, and people would come out of hospitals and be healed and all of that. If prayer changes things, our loved ones, in which, I just read a post, that someone had posted, it's hard, not to see a loved one, they miss them, dearly, and then to not be able to see them again is harder. You know what I mean? And if prayer changes things, we would be able to help that person, to bring back the loved one. I mean, I would surely love for my beloved brother Albert Atefale Toeaina to come back. And all of us, all of you would love to have, certain people in our families, certain friends, to come back. You know what I mean? And it's just the truth, that prayer will not change things. That's just not how God operates. However, that as we been hearing about, there's a proper way of praying and there's an effective way of praying. We were talking about, we finished talking about proper prayer, and now we're talking about effective prayer. So praying effectively, uh, is is a very simple concept, but it's complex, because we have been overwhelmed with tradition and doctrines, that's been that has really just taken over our taken over common sense, taken over the ability to be able to do research and to see that in the Bible, that God created this body to heal itself. And so we're praying prayers to God, asking God to heal us from this, to heal us from that. But we just refuse to stop doing what caused us, the disease, what generated the sickness. And so we keep living the same kind of lifestyle, expecting different results, and it just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? All due respect, I mean, I love what I've learned when I was a kid in Sunday school growing up. Been going to church since 1962. But excuse me, at some point in time, you'd want to, like right now, the thing that people fear to do is to question authority. And when we question authority, it's like taboo. It's taboo. It's almost like going against God. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay, to question authority. It's okay, to, I mean, the Berean Christians, they didn't take the apostles' teachings face value. I mean, they heard the teachings from the apostles, and then they went home with the teachings, and they just, like turned every stone over, and did their, research, and made sure, that the teachings of the apostles lined up with the word of God. You see what I'm saying? And so, because when I say it's praying effectively is simple, but it's complex. It's as simple as this, that praying effectively is the same way we receive visions from God, right? When we receive a vision from God. When you think about, let's say for instance, when you think about, excuse me, the Mormon, right? The Mormon brothers and sisters, the history books doesn't say, that the whole organization of the Mormons received this vision from God. No. In the history books, it is a man by the name of Joseph Smith, one man. Supposedly, God, gave him a vision, and then this one man turned around and influenced and empowered a group of people, and then that group of people, spread it like wildfire. the Seventh-day Adventists, it wasn't the whole organization supposedly that received the vision. It was one person. Helen G. White, was the one who received the vision. And you see what I'm saying? So God does not give a vision to a group of people. Instead, to avoid mass confusion and interpretation error, God gives a vision to a person. To a person. Nevertheless, vision is fulfilled by a group of people. Do you see what I'm saying? So when the one person receives the vision, then that one person has the responsibility, to spread, what they believe, they received. You follow what I'm saying? Again, this is why, when you think about, in Matthew 26:36, this is why when Jesus and his disciples arrived at the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus told his disciples, you sit here and I'm going to go over there and pray. Sit here and I'm going to go over there and pray. All 12 of you guys sit over here and I'm going to go over there and pray. Why? Because it's so important, that we don't get a 12 different resolves in which we thought we heard. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be a mass confusion in the body. You follow what I'm saying? And so that's why Jesus is very important that you understand proper prayer is a person who prays by himself or a person who prays by herself. This is why Jesus, you study his ministry. Jesus always prayed by himself. He can't afford to take a whole bunch of people like we do in prayer meetings and, or we connect, chains, to have a prayer chain and things like that. You can't afford to, because we cannot afford for different. That's why in the church, I remember when my dad, and I do it too. I remember my dad, when he's preaching, and then he has a massive audience, right? And then he's preaching, and then all of a sudden one person gets up and speaks in tongue, right? And then you would think what my father's about to do is rude and disrespectful, but it's not. But when that person gets up and speaks in tongue, and it doesn't matter if another person gets up and interprets it. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't even reach an interpreter. The interpreter should know what is order and what's disorder. You see what I'm saying? So when my father is preaching, God gave my father the message for the people. He's not going to go inside anyone else in the audience to speak through while my father is speaking the message that God gave him. So when a person gets up and speaks in tongue, my father would just flat out and said, listen, sit down. You're out of order. Do you see what I'm saying? Why? Because only one person can speak to the mass. And then you leave it up to the mass to make a decision whether they want to accept the message or not. Again, this is why when Jesus and the 12 disciples arrived at the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus told his disciples, well, in Mark chapter 26, verse 36, Mark 26:36, this is what it says. Then Jesus came with them to Gethsemane, and he told his disciples, sit here while I go over there and pray. Sit here while I go over there and pray. The reason being is because Jesus is about to communicate with God. He's about to talk with his Father, and it is possible that what he says to his Father is going to be taken out of context by 12 guys. You know what I mean? Misconstrued. Imagine, if they all went pray with Jesus, and they heard what Jesus said, right? Jesus said these words to his Father, Father, take this cup away from me. All 12 of those guys are going to look around, cup? What cup? Peter, does Jesus have a cup? You see what I'm saying? There's, he cannot afford for idiots, you know what I mean, who have no idea of the mission that his father has sent him here on this earth. You follow what I'm saying? To to uh, have 12 guys come in and interrupt with the this communication or this conversation that he's going to have with his father. He said, Father, take this cup away from me." 12, like I didn't even know for a long time what Jesus meant, but I know now. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, it would have been 12 different spins, you know what I mean, as to what they think they heard Jesus say to his father. He was talking about a cup. No, he wasn't. He was talking about a bowl. No, he wasn't. He was talking about a saucer. No, he was talking about a plate. No, he wasn't. You see what I'm saying? So that's why he said those words in Matthew 26:36. Sit here while I go over there and pray. You see what I'm saying? If there's an effective way to pray, if there's an effective way to pray, then there's also an ineffective way to pray. In other words, it's more effective for Jesus to go over there by himself to pray because vision is given to a person. My son Alex second, did a great job this past Sunday talking about vision, and I was watching it. I watched it, a couple of times, and I thought, wow, this is relative to what I'm talking about, right? Why Jesus, would pray by himself is because, vision is to one person, but it takes a group of people to fulfill the vision. It's more effective for Jesus to go over there and the disciples to go over there, because vision is given to a person. And then the vision shares the visionary, and then the visionary shares it with others because vision is fulfilled by a group of people. See what I'm saying? Like even not even Joshua went up to the Mount Sinai, with Moses, and spent 40 days, 40 nights up in the Mount Sinai, and came back down with the 10 Commandments. It wasn't like Aaron didn't go, no, didn't go, no. It was just Moses. It was just Moses that went to Mount Sinai, and had a conversation with God. See what I'm saying? Because it's very dangerous. You know what I mean? When we take a group of people, and have up in Mount Sinai, and then come back and everybody have their own version of what they saw. Because if they come back down, if all of them come back down from Mount Sinai, and they saw what they thought they saw, they heard what they thought they heard, you follow what I'm saying? Or they didn't see anything or heard anything, but they were watching Moses and his interaction with God. They everybody would have their own take as to what took place up there, So, and then also when our prayers, here's the most powerful thing, is that when our prayers are backed up, by God's knowledge and his understanding, you know what I mean? Things begin to happen. Prayer doesn't change things. What changes things is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That's what changes things. So we would have greater results, than just ritually, than just praying, the traditional way, waiting on heaven because someone told us prayer changes things. Prayer does not change things, okay? Prayer does not change things. I'm going to say it one more time because you got to get it. If prayer changed things, many good Christians wouldn't be working for a fast food restaurant. You understand what I'm saying, everybody? If prayer changes things, a wife beater would stop beating they wife. or vice versa. You see what I'm saying? But there are couples, right now, that are living an abusive relationship. You know why? Because they don't understand, how marriage works. That marriage is a hard. That's why, I'm always teaching a marriage class, because you have to understand what marriage is all about. Marriage is not a covenant made between two people. No, marriage is a covenant that two people made unto God. You see the difference, everyone? Because listen, when we make a contract, marriage is not a contract in which one can annul. You follow what I'm saying? No, but marriage is a covenant of two people. Marriage is two people who made a covenant unto God. So the husband made a covenant. He's going to love his wife, with all his heart, and riches or poor or whatever, everything, and then the wife is going to say, I'm going to love my husband, for richer, for poor, for sickness, or you see what I'm saying? And they're both going to go this way, as long as the husband is going towards God and the wife is going towards God. By the time they get up here, you see, we'd have greater results, than just ritually praying, waiting on heaven because someone told us that prayer changes things. God's ways, his ways of doing things, or his infinite principles is exactly what we need in order for us to have good success. We were talking about this last Wednesday, that God taught us how his ways, or how his knowledge, understanding, and wisdom works, right? Many don't like it when I say prayer doesn't change things, but why is that? Why is it that you don't like when I say that? But because it's been the way we've done things for years. You see what I'm saying? Whoever gets in the mind first, you follow what I'm saying? Whoever gets in this thing first, that teaching is locked in, and we've got to unlock it for glory to God outcomes. You follow? Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. Here it is right here. Here it is. Here it is right here. This book of the law, or God's ways of doing things, his knowledge, his understanding, and his wisdom regarding good success in life, shall not depart from your mouth. You follow? And then, but you shall meditate in it day and night. You shall meditate day, not the pastor, not the assistant pastor, not the counselor, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein, and then you will make your way prosperous. Who's going to make your way prosperous? Not God. God is he's not doing a lick of thing for you. Everything that God needed to do for you and for me, he's already done it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything we need to meet our physical needs, to meet our spiritual needs, to meet our, every need, God has given it to us. It is us that we have to go and discover it and use it. You follow what I'm saying? And then he says, then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. You. Watch this. The pastor is not going to meditate in this word day and night to observe, to do all that is written therein, and then you be successful. No. The pastor is going to be successful. You got to do it yourself. You follow what I'm saying? And then you will make your way prosperous. Not the pastor. The pastor's not going to make you prosperous. You make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap. Whatever you don't sow, that is what you will not reap. Simple as that. You follow what I'm saying? So when we follow Jesus, when we follow these, Joshua 1:8, divine instructions, then we will have good success. And if we don't, here's the thing about Christianity is that, like, if we don't see prosperity, if we don't see healing, if we don't see marriages, successful, then we blame God. If we don't see, like if somebody is sick in the hospital, we've been praying, everybody's been praying, everybody's been fasting, and that person end up dying, we just say stuff, we say stuff, to try to give us, some sanity, so we'll say, well, it was the will of God. It was the will of God. No, it was our own doings why we die. It is our own doings why we live. It is our own doings why we prosper. It is our own doings why we get a raise, why we get a promotion. It is our own doing why we get fired. You follow what I'm saying? It is our own doing why we get evicted from our homes, why our cars get repossessed. It is our own doing, not God and not Satan. You got that? So most good Christians, does a great job preaching, love one another. We got to love one another. We got to love one another, but yet they don't love themselves. They don't love themselves. You know what? Look, sugar consumption, right? Sugar consumption is the culprit that's killing them. Sugar is the consumption. The consumption of sugar is killing them while they're reaching out to people to love, each other. I want you to love yourself and stop sugar. Let me share this with you, okay? I'm going to share this. I'm going to digress a little bit. I want to share this with you, that sugar is the culprit of killing so many good Christians. It's sugar. It's sugar. But I want to share with you a nasty secret, a plot that our government played on humanity. This is entitled. This is a series. You can look this up. You can look this up yourself. This is what I'm talking about. You know what? You need to get up off your knees and stop praying and do some research. You see what I'm saying? But this article was entitled "Fat F-A-T was falsely banned for cardiovascular disease." See, our prayers would be tremendously reduced, if we understood, why it is, that people have diabetes, why it is that people have heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, and things like that. We would reduce our prayer time, the time that we spend, we would reduce our time spent in praying to just praying prayers of gratitude and thanksgiving as to how faithful God is when you know how he created this body to heal itself. This is an article. Fat was falsely banned for cardiovascular disease. Hit your like and your share. Tag some names. Come on, you guys. So 56 years ago, the sugar industry quietly paid to shift the blame for cardiovascular disease from sugar to fat. It's time to reassess the way we look at things. I was always told, that there's good fat, like mayonnaise. We joke about it, this is the Samoan stereo. I'm sorry, this Samoan, what is it, producer? Steroids. This is the Samoan steroids, mayonnaise. But did you know mayonnaise is good for you? So, I had to reboot my whole thought process as well. You know what I mean? But 56 years ago, the sugar industry, this is how evil, when you talk about people who, the love of money is the root of all evil, that they understand that if they could just manipulate scientists and people, people will believe scientists before they believe their pastor. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So the sugar industry quietly paid to shift the blame for cardiovascular disease from sugar to fat. In 1967, Harvard scientists, watch this everyone, found sugar could be a major culprit for heart disease, but the sugar industry got wind of this and paid these scientists to demonize fat and downplay the risks of sugar. Yeah, it's time for you to stop praying. We've been looking stupid. We've been looking very, very dumb, right? What we need to do is we need to understand how important it is for us to cut down on sugar products. And sugar doesn't just come, just in a CNH box or a CNH bag. 5 pound sugar, 10 pound sugar. Sugar come in many forms. You know, um, sugar come in carbs. Sugar comes in cookies, and sugar comes in cupcakes. Sugar comes in potato chips. All kinds of soda. So in 1967, Harvard scientists found sugar could be a major culprit for heart disease, but the sugar industry got wind of this and paid these scientists to demonize fat and downplay the risk of sugar. So the studies in that review were handpicked. And so the Sugar Association paid 3 Harvard scientists, the equivalent of $50,000 in today's US dollars. And $50,000 back 1967 is a lot. But the Sugar Association paid 3 Harvard scientists the equivalent of $50,000 in today's US dollars to publish a review of research on sugar, fat, and heart disease. Come on, you guys. Get this. Get this. Don't listen. Prayer does not change things. Cutting out sugar as much as we can will change things. And then we can pray, thank you, Father. I just, stumbled into Alex Toeaina's Midweek Bible Study, and he told me about, that sugar and fat was flopped. Thank you, Father, Lord. Now I know what to do. No, but we've been told all our lives, malosi le calo. Ya malosi le calo. Le calo is man. We've been told all our lives, be faithful, have a faithful prayer, get on a prayer chain. Man, this stuff don't work. It don't work. Look, if prayer changed things, is it a COVID-19? All them people that died in the COVID-19, you think they would die if prayer worked? Because if everybody was praying, but they still died. Oh, but it's the will of God. And it wasn't very long after that. Let me just go back and read it again, okay? The studies in that review were handpicked, and the Sugar Association paid 3 Harvard scientists the equivalent of $50,000 in today's US dollars to publish a review of research on sugar, fat, and heart disease. And it wasn't very long after that when the USDA came out against fat and low fat movement, and the low fat movement began, which was single-handedly the worst thing to ever happen to our health. Let me read it again. And it wasn't very long after that when the USDA came out against fat and the low fat movement began. Which was single-handedly the worst thing to ever happen to our health. So the problem is here's the problem. Here's what the problem is when food manufacturers cut out fat. When they cut out fat, they had to overcompensate for the loss of taste that fat provides. I don't know about you, but man, every time I go to the restaurant and I order a steak, I always tell the waiter or the waitress, please don't tell the chef, don't cut the fat off, because fat makes my steak taste good. So listen to this, everybody. The problem is when food manufacturers cut out fat, they had to overcompensate for the loss of taste that fat provides. So what did they do? What did they do? They added more sugar. Fat, listen to me, everybody. Fat is essential for our health. That's why I do 80-20. You say, what's 80-20? From Monday to Friday, I'm 80%. I'm going plant-based. I'm eating healthy as much as I can. Saturday and Sunday, I'll have, my son Albert, just called me today and said, Dad, I just became a member of Sam's Club, and I went in there and, man, Dad, they got these big old tomahawk, and the bones is this long, the tomahawk. And I said, yeah, that's where Uncle Warner and Auntie Nani get the tomahawks, bone-in ribeyes. So he said, well, I got you one, Dad. I said, well, when is your days? I said, Saturday or Sunday. So he's going to come Sunday with a tomahawk. But listen to this. So what did these people do? What did these evil people do? They added more sugar. Fat is essential for the health. Fat is essential for the health. You ever notice, juice, apple juice, orange juice, cranberry juice, whatever juice. You ever question why is juice on the shelves nowadays? You ever question why juice is, back in the days, the juice got to be in the refrigerator. They got to be, if you wanted juice, you went to the refrigerator at the store to get juice, whether it's orange juice, whatever juice. But now juice is on the shelf. Why? Because it's my God. They added more sugar, but I want to remind you that fat is essential for our health. Now, of course, we're not talking about, let's indulge in fat, but like use the fat, to keep the taste of your, but man, don't be. So, and when we replace, watch this, and when we replaced it with sugar, and carbs, we saw an increase in heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, and much more. You see that, everybody? We have been lied to for a long time. We've been lied to for so long by our doctors, by the government, the food industry, and our media. And most today, it's an unfortunate thing right here, this is the truth, and most people today still believe fat makes you fat. Most people today still believe that fat makes you fat. Why? Because whoever gets into your head, first, that information locks in. You got to remember 1967 when this transaction transpired, when the sugar company paid off 3 scientists, I was only 10 years old. And this is why God sent us the Holy Spirit to bring into remembrance of everything his son Jesus taught, meaning, we'll come back next week. I'm going to go through this again, man. I got to come back next week, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope this message has been a blessing to you. All I got to say is, brothers and sisters, you just got to do the research. You got to do the research. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not against praying. Please, I'm not against praying. I am for proper prayer. I am for effective prayer. When we have been, withheld from truth, that there is a proper way of praying, there's an effective way of praying, we wasted a whole lot of time. Just imagine how many prayer meetings we've been going to. Imagine how many prayer chains we've been a part of, and yet people are dying like flies. Oh, but Pastor, God, the Bible said, as it is appointed unto man wants to die after this, the judgment, yeah, we all have an appointment to die, but it doesn't say, it doesn't say, it doesn't say, like, you have, 15 years to live. It doesn't say, you have, there's only one person in the Bible, in which God gave him 15 more years. You don't see that happen no more, because that's not how it works, everyone. It's time to use this right here. It's called the brain that God gave us, the heaviest muscle in our body. You listening to what I'm saying? If this message has been a blessing to you, then I want you to partner up with us, okay? As I empower you every week, Scripture talks about, reciprocate back, right? Unto those who teach you in all good things. You follow what I'm saying? Sold Out Christian Center is an amazing ministry, and I would love for you to partner up with us. Listen, man, we would love to, we've had opportunities, to buy land. We've had opportunities to buy buildings, We just weren't able to sustain, a level of commitment to a vision. You see what I'm saying? And we need land, we need buildings, we need things, to be able to effectively serve God's people. So I want you to partner up with us, right? You can do that by sowing a seed, $1, $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I say it doesn't matter because it's a principle, everybody. Whatever you sow, that's what you reap. Whatever I sow, that's what I reap. What's powerful is when we become partners and we build this strong foundation to empower people, to get rid of foolishness, of ignorance, stupidity, presumptions, and all this churchy stuff we've been doing for so many years, and people are not reflecting the glory of God that will attract the world to come knocking down the church of our buildings, the walls of our buildings, to come and join us. Got what I'm saying, everybody? Thank you so much for. So basically, I've gotten a request as to how they can sow a seed. Well, what you could do is they can go either Zelle, right here on the bottom of the screen. You see Zelle, or you can Venmo, right, and then you can sow your seed that way. My prayer is that we would all go from faith to faith. God is not going to take you from glory to glory. That's not God's responsibility. It is we who must go from faith to faith to faithfulness of lifestyle daily. And then we keep doing that. And then we go from glory to glory based on what we do with faith in His word, in His teachings. I'll see you at the top if you don't stop. You take care, and God bless.
When I found the Lord, no more lonely days of pain and misery. For the door of happiness I found the key. I have found a life of love and harmony. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind. When I found the Lord, I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind. When I found the Lord, I found happiness. I found peace of mind. I found joy of living, perfect love supply. I found real contentment, happy living in accord. I found happiness all the time, wonderful peace of mind. When I found the Lord, I found I'm so happy with His brand new melody.